My name is Juliette McKinley. I'm a Master 4-H'er and President of the Northwest District Board and Vice President of Paulding County Council, and I attend Capstone Academy. And today I'm going to be talking about equine prosthetics, how I first became interested in animal prosthetics as a whole, experts, why there is a need for equine prosthetics, consideration when applying prostheses to equines, case studies, and lessons learned with giving these animals a second chance by following the stories of Emma and Molly. I first became interested in animal prosthetics when I had seen the movie Dolphin Tale, which featured a dolphin with a prosthetic tail. When I was 9 years old, I went to Georgia Tech, the Center for Prosthetic Research, where a man named Robert Kistenberg showed my brother and I numerous human prosthetics with cognitive function, along with a few animal prosthetics, including a prototype for Winter's Tale. On PBS, I had found a show called My Bionic Pet, which featured various animals with prosthetics, and included my first glimpse at Molly the pony. Throughout my 4-H career, I have consulted with many experts, interviewed them, and befriended most of them, and have had the opportunity to meet in person Molly and Emma and interview their owners. There are only 39 facilities throughout the world that are dedicated to animal prosthetics. I have had the privilege of interviewing Derek Campagna and Dr. Nikki Marie Hansen. Dr. Nikki Marie Hansen has stated, statistics from the horse racing industry state that 60 to 70% of all horses euthanized are euthanized due to diseases and trauma to the lower leg. 60 to 70%, that's a huge number. And that's not including all of the horses outside of the racing industry. So then the question arises, why isn't there more research being done? What if this happens to my horse? Part of the answer lies in the size of a horse. Now, as humans, we distribute our weight evenly, 50% in one leg and 50% in the other. Well, horses distribute their weight unevenly. The average horse weighs about 1,000 pounds, and they distribute the weight about 60% in their front legs and roughly 40% in their back legs. Now, if they do lose the use of one of their legs, their good legs could develop laminitis, commonly known as founder, which causes those good legs to go bad as well, which could result in fatality. I have interviewed with Dr. Ted Vallejos of Rocky Mountain Equine Hospital, where he dispelled the belief that size and weight is the greatest factor when applying a prosthetic to an equine by placing pins above the area of amputation, allowing weight to be placed on that leg immediately while also allowing time for the residual limb to heal. As you can see, these are pins in the foot, the cast, and the prosthetic. Now, the average cost for a prosthetic ranges from $4,000 to $5,000, and most prosthetics are created by the leading company, Hanger Prosthetics. Now, the average cost for surgery, 2 months of treatment and rehabilitation, is a whopping $12,000. Pretty pricey. However, one of my favorite patients of Dr. Ted Vallejos is Bella, a burro foal who was left out in 15-degree Minnesota, where when they found her, they picked her up, put her in a pickup truck, and drove all the way to Wyoming, where the surgery was a success, and now she lives happily with her pretty pink prosthetic. Now, one of Dr. Ted Vallejos' favorite sayings is a horse has to be a horse. And if you go on the Rocky Mountain Equine Hospital website, you'll see horses doing just that with prosthetics. Not only walking, trotting, cantering, and some even galloping, because they've been given a second chance. Emma arrived at Auburn on April 26, 2012, when she was just 2 days old. And as you can see, her right hind leg is deformed. Dr. Fred Cadwell, the equine surgeon, who I've interviewed and become good friends with, laid out their options, and they went with amputation and prosthesis. The surgery went well, and it's important to note that she was only 2 days old and immediately took to the prosthetic because she never had the experience of all 4 legs. I've also had the pleasure of interviewing with Billy Fletcher and Taylor Jones. Now, Billy Fletcher created her first prosthetic, while Taylor Jones made her more recent prosthetics, and they both work at Hanger Prosthetics. I've also had the opportunity to interview her owner, Dr. Brenda Mule, who takes very good care of her. Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans in 2005. Now Molly was rescued and surrendered to Miss Kay Harris. Sadly, tragedy struck when she was attacked by a pit bull who ripped open all 4 of her legs and her throat. However, she made a full recovery except her front right leg. Now, after convincing her vet, Dr. Allison Barcia, and then convincing the vets at LSU, the surgery was a complete success, and Joanne Mara, a human prosthetist, stepped up to the plate to create her first prosthetic. And with the love and care of Dr. Allison Barcia and Miss Kay Harris, she lived a happy life. Now let's talk about some of the lessons learned. With Emma, we've learned the importance of residual limb health. It is critical to keep the residual limb clean, dry, healthy, and weight-bearing. You have to put the weight on all 4 legs for an equine. However, with her prosthetic, she started to develop sores on her residual limb, causing her to shift her weight onto her support limb, which developed arthritis and luxation of the proximal and phalangeal joint. However, Dr. Brenda Mule noticed this, and being a veterinarian and a farrier, he tried to fix this with corrective shoeing. However, being that she was such an energetic little donkey, she couldn't stay still even with a cast and fractured her pastern. Sadly, Emma was euthanized on June 24th in 2016. Molly, 12 years later, was a senior 27-year-old pony who is still visiting and inspiring and is relatively healthy. Miss Kay Harris created this thing for her to relax all 4 of her legs, giving her a break and making it easier to travel and trailer. She has her own personal swimming pool where she can do water therapy to build up her muscles. Now today with me, I have her original prosthetic. Now as you can see, it's made of laminated carbon fiber and has a silicone sock. However, the silicone sock was getting hot and would rub against her leg, causing her to shift her weight. However, Miss Kay was smart and was able to fix this by putting in a simple sock, which was breathable and more comfortable for Molly. Molly was invited to the American Academy of Orthotics and Prosthetics convention, where she would receive one of the most high-end prosthetics, and she would be the first animal to receive one. As you can see, it fits like a sneaker and even looks like one too, and is fit to be more custom for her. Now let's talk about the challenges. It is a long-term commitment to put a prosthetic on an equine. You can't put a prosthetic on an equine, put them out in the pasture, and expect them to live a normal life. It takes a lot of maintenance. Residual limb health. We've learned that it's critical to keep the residual limb healthy and weight-bearing to avoid any complications. Replacement of the prosthetic. Both Molly and Emma had various prosthetics that fit different needs as different problems arose or they grew as equines. Now, Emma's tended to lean more on the pink side. Now the big question arises, was it worth it? Now after meeting Dr. Codwell and Dr. Brenda Mule, who have watched Emma grow up, and I've met Emma personally and seeing how much energy and life was in this little animal, I would say yes, and I believe they would agree with me. Now anyone who has ever met Molly or have seen her at work knows she's an inspiration to the able and the disabled. This little boy couldn't communicate since birth and didn't show an interest to. However, after meeting Molly and seeing how strong she was and was inspired by her, he wanted to communicate. She was an inspiration to veterans, has even been inside children's schools, and is even an inspiration to her fellow amputees. Now on the bottom of her prosthetic, you can see that there's a smiley face, so wherever she goes, she leaves a trail of smiles. Now I have the children's book that was written about her and have her famous signature of her famous smile. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, I received a call from Miss Kay Harris saying that Molly was fading and had to be euthanized. However, it wasn't because of complications with her prosthetic or past injuries. It was simply because she was an old pony and it was her time. Today, I want to dedicate my presentation to future equine amputees and the inspiration of both Molly and Emma. Thank you for your time.